So, sustainable development ROI, one of our favorite subjects.
Indeed, and Michael, as you know, on our last call, we had mentioned that through our strategic partnership between MetaVu and CRD Analytics, we've undertaken a study to analyze capital investments by corporations around sustainability. So as corporations position sustainability as a strategy, how are they marshaling their talent, developing a strategy, measuring the ROI over time? And we've had an ongoing case study interview process with numerous companies and Fortune 100 players. And we're pleased today to share some factoids that have come out of that learning process through the interview with the companies. The article itself will be published in the Journal of Applied Corporate Finance this summer. And just a few notable aspects here regarding capital planning process, the ROI aspects. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, going through the interviews, one of the things that we learned a lot, and we're putting together the analysis. So we like to tell you what we're working on, what's coming, and then talk about the actual results. So in speaking with many of these corporations, and we've given them a leading indicator performance survey to fill out, which has very detailed analysis, none of the companies were in that top upper right-hand corner of industry leader. And I think that it's a great lens for them to look at themselves through, as well as where they are in terms of the organizational maturity, their performance framework, as well as their strategic outlook. And you know, in looking at these companies, the firms that are working actively with corporate finance and taking a look at the before, during, and after of the return on the investment within those projects, they are able to articulate it in a great fashion. And I think that ability to articulate it, document it, and show the actual multiple, say, you know, for every $1 they invested, they have a 5x return or a 3.2 return. They're getting stronger buy-in from their board, from senior execs, and also with corporate finance. Because as we talked about, they're communicating the value, and therefore they're getting a lot easier time passing those projects through. And we're gonna talk a lot about that in the article, but that was one of the things that really stuck out with me.
Indeed, and our observation on that is to add to that is it's really about embedding sustainability into the organization. So building that culture, creating the awareness, establishing the business processes, the governance, the work tools, so the personnel in the organization departments can actually execute the strategies organizationally. Now with that, one example, we saw that operationally, some companies who are recognized leaders are moving away from a maturity index perspective, if you would, environmentally. They're moving off of the low-hanging fruit, the energy efficiency investments, to looking at R&D investments and understanding, as Michael mentioned, the capital investment process, so they could forward look and project revenue targets based on innovative products that have an environmental differentiation attribute. Or looking at footprint reduction that is targeted to particular demographics, or establishing new sector demographics that grow market share or product volume and revenue. So those are the specific aspects we're seeing trend lining now, where companies are moving forward into measuring ROI of sustainable development.
Right. I think another interesting finding was the lack of really maturity in terms of the companies having a system of record.
Absolutely.
So an enterprise level CMS. Some firms have and some don't, but we were kind of impressed by the nascent, you know, embryonic nature.
Bootstrapping?
Bootstrapping, Excel spreadsheets, notepads.
Yeah.
You know. So one of the things that you'll see in a new study that's going to be coming out from CSR Insights, we just got the press release on that, is that they also corroborated that and said that they also saw that a lack of enterprise level ESG, CMS, I know all these acronyms, so environmental, social, and governance content management system was hurting the company's ability to be SEC compliant. And as we know, that's another huge driver. So companies need to now disclose their ESG risks and opportunities in their 10Ks. And if they're having trouble collecting the basic information in terms of carbon and other you know, VOCs and emissions, water, waste, and as you saw with the reinsurance industry, connecting all the dots, companies are getting ever-present pressure. So one of the things that really has helped on the financial accounting side are the SAPs and the Oracle Finance. So at least you can gather all your information together, you can analyze it, you present it, and then you can make the appropriate strategic and tactical adjustments. Well, I think we're going to see that same thing in terms of the level of maturity of companies really installing these systems, getting used to it, and being able to measure, manage, and then communicate it properly.
Absolutely.
For the different stakeholders, not just the SEC, but also for their board, for their employees, for the supply chain, for graduating students, which are really the hunt for talent.
Well, let's not forget about readiness, situational readiness. From a corporate perspective, there's a lot of externalities that are driving the behaviors, but internally the system of record allows data aggregation into information that the companies can then inform decisions about how to marshal their talent and execute the business strategy. So companies are not going to report pragmatically until they're ready. So the system of record is a foundational investment vehicle for them to position the business for success.
Yeah, good point.